Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new review. We are almost there. We only have 6 more episodes and then we're done with season 1 and then just one more season. This has been hard work, guys. I've had to read so much. But anyway, let's just get straight into the video. So this is the deep end. It's episode 15. And the next one, episode 16, was one of my favorite episodes. But we'll get to that later. So let's just get started. The episode begins with the exterior of the Mystery Shack and with Toby determines voice on the radio describing the day as possibly the hottest day of the summer. Due to the extreme heat, a squirrel spontaneously bursts into flames out of nowhere. Wow, that's pretty dark. Poor squirrel. Mac's wax stand then starts to slowly melt. The fish tank in the living room begins to boil. Is that possible? I guess it technically is. The wallpaper peels off, and Dipper, Mabel, Grunkle, Stan, and Seuss lie around, too hot to do anything. After a brief exchange between Waddles and Stan, wherein the pig licks Stan's face, Toby announces that the Gravity Falls pool will be opening today. The four are excited to set out, though Stan is hindered because he is stuck to the floor. After the twins pin him up with spatulas, he heads outside with floorboards stuck to him as Toby warns of the random wildfire risk. Stan subsequently catches fire off screen and Mabel hastily says he'll be fine. At the pool, the gang has a random small talk before Mabel catches sight of Mermando and instantly develops a crush on him. When she inquires as to who he is, Seuss tells her a rumor that he never leaves the pool and describes him as a mystery loner. She grows even more infatuated with him, much to the annoyance of Dipper and Stan, and follows Seuss's instructions to go to talk to him. As she runs to her believed true love, she crashes into various objects and irritates many people at the pool, and the boys discuss their options on Mabel's boy craziness. Suddenly, Stan is hit by a water balloon, and Wendy reveals that she is the one who threw it and has a job at the pool as a lifeguard. When Dipper learns that the pool is hiring assistants, he decides to apply for a job as an assistant lifeguard so he can spend quality time with Wendy. But he must first get the approval of the emotionally unstable Mr. Poolcheck. Meanwhile, Mabel abruptly meets up with Mermando, and she promptly introduces herself and displays her highly outgoing and bouncy personality, which charms Mermando. When Mabel sees that he has taken a liking to her, she proceeds to ask him out on a date, but he replies that he cannot due to a terrible secret. This statement both upsets and intrigues Mabel. The scene then switches to Dipper talking to Mr. Poolcheck about the lifeguard job, and Poolcheck says he thinks Dipper may be fit due to his SPF 100 sunscreen. Wait, hold on. And Poolcheck says he thinks Dipper may be fit due to his SPF 100 sunscreen. However, Poolcheck also describes the pool as highly unruly and asks Dipper if he thinks he can handle it. After seeing Wendy, he replies that he thinks he can, and Mr. Poolcheck gives him the job. Stan goes on to show Seuss what he views as the perfect lawn chair, due to it being equidistant from the snack bar and the bathroom, with just the right amount of sun and shade, and pointing away from where Old Man McGucket lotions himself. As he proceeds to sit down on it, he finds that Gideon Gleeful already has, solely due to the purpose of antagonizing Stan. When Stan tries to remove his young nemesis, Wendy charges him with breaking the pool rules, and he is put in pool jail. As he begs for his release, Dipper arrives with the sight and tells Wendy that he will be his assistant, and the two gleefully run off to abuse their power, despite Dipper's initial worries that Poolcheck may catch them. Back in the jail, Stan engages in conversation with the inmates. Mabel then tries another attempt, and then I think he also, to get him off of the chair, he, tried to burn him, but, with something, like a magnifying glass or something, but it failed. I don't know, I don't exactly remember. Mabel then makes another attempt to bond with Mermando, and she gives him a wet sandwich to try to convince him to tell her his secret. Mermando is persuaded to tell her he is a merman. After he tells Mabel his name, he divulges how he arrived at the pool An unknown amount of time ago, he had been swimming with his friends, a pod of dolphins in the Gulf of Mexico, when he got caught in a fishing net. After being transported to Gravity Falls, Oregon, he entered the lake and tried to swim back to the ocean. However, he failed after being hit by a log, and he fell down into the forest. Had he not been licked by the deer, he would have died of dehydration, but soon fell down a pipe and into the pool. Armando expresses uh, thoughts. Um, Romano expresses thoughts that Mabel most likely finds it weird that he is not human. That he is not human, though Mabel tells him otherwise, and the two go play a game of Marco Polo. As Gideon puts sunscreen on himself, Stan, jealous and infuriated, peers at him from a distance and gets the idea to blind Gideon. Oh yeah, this is the scene. Sorry, I thought that was earlier, but never mind. And gets the idea to blind Gideon by reflecting a beam of sunlight at him. His plan backfires when the boy anticipates this and reflects the light back off his goggle, hurting Stan's eyes and causing him to fall into the water. Dipper and Wendy then play a prank on Seuss by impersonating a duck inner tube, saying that the tubes have been enslaved and need him to liberate them. As Pool Check announces that the pool is closing, Dipper and Wendy decide to hide from him. Tells Seuss to get away from the duck inner tubes and instructs Dipper to lock up the pool supplies. Mabel then plans to sneak during the night to see Mermando. After dark, Mabel arrives in the mystery cart and she climbs over the fence to enter. In the pool, she shows the merman a scrapbook of human activities. When she shows him a picture of her family kickboxing, Mermando is saddened by the memory of the family from whom he was separated when he was abducted. When Mabel asks why he does not simply leave, he explains that it is extremely difficult for him, since he can't move very well in land and will be at risk of dehydration, and has not tried since after a single failed attempt. He says that he is glad he met Mabel there, however. Mabel sees this then as an opportunity to get her first kiss, but when Mando asks what she is doing, she blames it on sour candy and denies her friend's request for some. The next day, Dipper and Wendy are seen playing ring toss by throwing life preservers at patrons. Then an enraged Mr. Poolcheck confronts him about the broken pool skimmer, threatening to fire him if any more pool supplies get stolen. As Mabel tries to play ball with Miranda, he is too depressed to do so, as he still misses his family terribly. She is upset by seeing him so sad, so she agrees to help him escape. Later that night, while Dipper is on night patrol, he catches his uncle breaking in to claim his desired pool chair ahead of time, and possibly break some pool supplies. Dipper then chases after him, and Mabel enters to begin her plan to bust Mermando out. Mabel next tells Mermando that her plan is to transport him using a cooler on the back of the mystery cart. Dipper quickly catches sight of Mabel and is further upset by the people he knows breaking in, and as soon as Seuss scales the fence, he tells him to go home. As Dipper grows suspicious of his sister, she distracts him by lying that Wendy's nearby in a bikini. She speeds out while apologizing, closely followed by her brother in the pool mobile. An unnamed kid stuck in solitary confinement in pool jail then cheers for Mabel. Downtown, Dipper chases after his twin and assaults her with water balloons, and she continually defies him as she nears the lake. Standstill at the pool comes out of the bathroom after changing into his bathing suit and sits down on his desired chair. When the twins speed through the forest, they pass Sheriff Blubbs and Deputy Derlin, who had been asleep until that moment. When Blubbs says that he thinks someone may have sped by, Derlin disregards it and tells Blubb it was probably a dream. And Blubb tells him that he finds every day to be his dream with his partner. At the edge of the lake, Dipper finally catches Mabel and instructs her to give back the cooler, but she protests she cannot if she wishes to save Mermando, whom she reveals to be a merman. She then proceeds to take her friend out of the cooler and introduces him to her brother. Mermando greets Dipper, then expresses concern that he is dying from lack of water. Mabel pleads with Dipper to give him reverse CPR to save him, and he regretfully complies. Mabel takes a picture of her brother for blackmail purposes, and Mermando thanks Dipper, but asks why he did not simply roll him into the very close lake. Dipper then face palms. After the twins drop the merman off the dock into the lake, That's how he will get his family. How he, that's how he will get his family to hear his calls. Mabel gives him a megaphone to aid him. Dipper urges her not to. However, as it is property of the pool, and he will get fired if he loses track of it. Mabel. What was I saying? Uh, Mabel. However, as Mabel gives him a megaphone to aid him, Dipper urges her not to. However, as it is property of the pool, and he will get fired if he loses track of it. Mabel sadly tells him that she would do anything to help Mermando, even though she knows the romantic relationship will most likely not work out. Dipper relates with his crush on Wendy and gives Mabel the megaphone. Mermando thanks Mabel and says that he has never met anyone such as she. And Mabel says she feels the same way, except for a handful of other creatures. Mabel says goodbye, and Mermando kisses her before departing, much to Dipper's disgust. She is ecstatic about her first kiss, and teases Dipper by telling him that he had his in a way as well. Before both parties depart, Mabel makes a reference to the ending of the movie Free Willy. That was a good movie, the orca one, I think. Um, Back at the pool, Mr. Poolcheck penalizes Dipper for the damage to the pool property and fires him, telling him to hand in his whistle. As he eats it, Dipper slowly backs away. Mr. Poolcheck proceeds to express his extreme anger, then loses it after spotting Seuss throwing several inner tubes over the fence and runs through the fence in pursuit of Seuss as Tyler cheers him on. Though Dipper is sad about losing the job, Wendy quickly cheers him up when she reveals that she was also fired because she had been taking too many snacks, and the two go off to disobey rules elsewhere. Meanwhile, Mabel is lamenting over Mermando's departure, but rejoices upon receiving several messages and bottles from him that uh, describe how things are going. Finally, getting Fane's shock and defeats at finding Sanford Pines has taken the perfect pool chair before he arrived, but then he reveals he anticipated Stan to try and arrive early to take it, and so had covered the whole chair in glue. Stan is surprised to find himself stuck again, and calls for his niece and nephew to get the spatulas. And the end credits, the boy in solitary confinement is shown stuck there throughout the year. And that was Gravity Falls episode 15, I think. So this one was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite one, but I'd give it like a 4 out of 5. It was pretty good. It's interesting. I like the pool one. It's pretty fun. Next we're gonna be reviewing one of my favorites, Carpet Diem. But until then, I'm Adrian Aguilar Moore, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.